Sam, hello.
Hello.
Could I start by asking you about your inclusion of Michail Antonio? What is it about him that you really like?
The journey, I think that the quality of the player that's shone through in every league he's played in, and the impact he had last year and the start of this season with his attacking flair, his quality for final third delivery, and his goal record from a wide position. So I think that journey is something that deserves to be in this squad, and me to have a look at as a potential player going forward.
It's quite unusual as well, in a sense, 26 years old and not been involved in the England squads coming through.
Well, it's a bit similar to Jamie Vardy, don't you think? You know, I think that if it shows if you've got guts and determination and desire, how much it means, like you mean. And when you started where Michail had, then he goes forward and creates a career for himself, which finally ends up in the Premier League and finally with us in this squad. So I'm looking forward to meeting him today and everybody for the first time, which has been obviously a well thought out. Obviously, we've been in deep discussion regarding the squad over the last few days, and we've had to make some very, very difficult decisions, none more so than obviously I would think probably Ross Barkley, which is obviously for him disappointing. For me, you have to make these decisions, and on this moment the door will always be open for Ross, but on this moment I felt that the squad I've picked is the right one.
Did you make your mind up after watching him on Saturday?
Well, we've made our mind up, all my staff. This is not just me, of course. I'm there for the final decision, but we discuss every element over the last 4 to 6 weeks, particularly since the season started. We look at all avenues and look what sort of pre-season they've had, what happened last season, you know, what's happened at the start of this season. Look at the balance of the squad, and luckily this weekend, fingers crossed that there was no injuries. Our worry was Kyle Walker and Eric Dyer, but that looked like it might have been injuries, but that was only illness. So that was a bonus when we got the call. John Stones coming off yesterday, was that a problem? No, that's okay. So they're all joining us today, so I'm looking forward to meeting them later on today.
Danny Drinkwater was desperately close to getting into the Euro 2016 squad. How pleased have you been that he's hit the ground running again this season, as it were?
I'm very pleased, and I think that, like I said, for balance of the squad, balancing the squad out, you know, that is midfield capabilities. I mean, it's individuals playing in a team that you have to try and blend together, and I have to try and marry a team that functions very well and does the job in the position, you know, that suits them if I possibly can. There will be occasions where you ask a player to play out of position, but as in terms of a central midfield player, I think he's proven that he's one of the most consistent in the country at the moment.
In an ideal world, would you have preferred the transfer window not to be open for the first couple of days of your first get together?
I would.
In terms of a distraction.
Yes, well, I'm exceptionally pleased that I'm not dealing with the last few days in the Premier League. But I think that yes, it can be a distraction. We'll address the players today when they arrive. Anything in that area for us to know as quickly as possible and us to deal with it as quickly as we possibly can, and how we deal with it. I don't quite know yet, because I'm sat here first time, first squad. It is a difficult position. Hopefully there'll be no challenges in that way for me between now and when the window shuts on Wednesday. I
mean, I was thinking particularly of Joe Hart, who, from an England perspective, it might suit that he was to move on to another club to play regular first team football.
Yes, well, I mean, if Joe arrives today, and I'm sure that if there's anything in the pipeline, that Joe will tell us that this may happen, and when we can get ready for it, just in case it does.
Wayne Rooney's been listed as a midfield player. Is that a reflection of that's where you're likely to play him?
Not really. I think that should we say attacking midfield player, or should we say striker, or should we just say perhaps? I think that Wayne's position has changed at Manchester United, and that's the sort of position I'd be looking for him to be playing in. So that for me, it'll be something that I may consider changing the format of the squad next time I announce it. So I may put no positions in and just announce the squad.
In terms of the captaincy announcement, where are we at?
Tomorrow.
It's going to be tomorrow.
Yeah,
is it?
it'll be tomorrow, and the captain, along with a few other players, will be. I'll be doing some press tomorrow. But my thoughts today are to meet the players as the squad, and then just talk to the players quickly individually, and obviously the medical staff on have they got any niggles and what do they need to do the next couple of days, and then obviously work to picking the team in the week and get that team ready for Slovakia away.
I think a lot of people will be pleased to see Luke Shaw's name back in the England squad after his terrible injury last year, when he seemed to have established himself as England's first choice left back.
Yes, he's been terrific since he's got back. Everybody's, particularly Manchester United, pleased to see him back and playing on top of his game so quickly after such a serious injury. So it's great to have him back in the squad. And like I said, for me, it was much more difficult picking this squad than it was picking a team in the Premier League for me. So hopefully I'll make it. The players will make it a lot easier as time goes on, or make it a lot more difficult, like the Ross Barkley decision. I would hope that every decision I make may be questioned on the form of the player at the time, but I can only pick 23.
Was another tricky decision Marcus Rashford? I mean, entirely understand the logic of it, to give him game time, but he goes and scores the winner on Saturday. Were you left with an if-only feeling about him?
I think that having international experience in the under-21s will be invaluable for us later down the line. And I think if he plays for Manchester United on a regular basis, he would certainly, if he's breaking into Manchester United team, would be in my squad whenever that's announced. But because of his inclusion only as a substitute, as good as it was against Hull City, I think the value of having probably a full game with Gareth will be invaluable to him and later on for us. A bit like Harry Kane and people like that in the past, where he made a massive impact last season. Yes, but he's only a young man. Let's not heap too much pressure on him just yet. Let him go and have a field and play for the under-21s. Hopefully he's a star for them, scores goals for them, and gives me that decision next time round on the next squad I pick.
Just one last one for me. It's only something like 11 weeks since England last played Slovakia. I mean, how much attention will you be paying to that particular game, and how much are you determined to stamp your own identity on this England team?
Well, we've examined that game. Me and Sammy particularly, we've watched that match, but we've really focused on the games they played at home, and I think that the tactics will be different when we play them in Slovakia. The team that has to come out and attack us to try and win the game, they're playing at home, whereas in the Euros, I think we all knew that 1 point was enough for them, and they made a very sound, solid defensive unit that was very difficult to break down in the end, because they weren't interested in playing any type of attacking football, I think. So I think it'll be different in Slovakia, and we have to plan for them playing on their own patch and us trying to break them down.